President Joe Biden will address the nation today about the highly transmissible Omicron variant. His speech from the White House comes just 4 days before Christmas. The good news is that the new variant may not be as deadly as previous coronavirus strains. But the bad news is that it spreads faster and is now the dominant strain here in the U.S. The CDC projects it makes up more than 73% of the new COVID cases, with the first Omicron-related death reported in Texas yesterday. It's expected that the president will address all of that and more during his remarks. Ed O'Keefe reports from the White House.
This is not a speech about locking the country down.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki says President Biden will outline how the country's prepared to fight Omicron and address the 40 million eligible adults who are still unvaccinated.
He'll issue a stark warning and make clear unvaccinated individuals will continue to drive hospitalizations and deaths.
In his speech, Mr. Biden's expected to emphasize CDC data that shows the unvaccinated are 8 times more likely to be hospitalized and 14 times more likely to die from COVID. The president will also announce plans to send 1,000 military medical personnel to help crowded hospitals and to deliver free rapid tests straight to households.
We have the tools now to really keep ourselves safe.
In an interview with CBS News' Margaret Brennan, Vice President Harris also pleaded with Americans to get their shots.
There is a lot about this moment that is frustrating, but let's not forget our individual power to actually do something about it. Everyone has to get vaccinated. The vaccines are free, they are safe, and they'll save your life.
Is it the fault of the unvaccinated?
I would not blame it on anyone in that way, but it is more about individual power and responsibility. But it is clear that everyone has the ability to make a choice to save their lives.
The message from the White House comes as Washington, D.C. declared a state of emergency and issued a new mandate.
I will reinstate a citywide mask order. We will be instituting a DC government vaccine mandate to include boosters.
And New York State is battling record positive COVID infections for 4 consecutive days this week.
It's very transmissible. It moves fast. We have to move faster.
Happy New Year! A final decision on whether to hold the Big Apple's traditional New Year's Eve Times Square ball drop is expected later this week. But in Los Angeles, Omicron has already canceled the party. The celebration in Grand Park will instead go virtual. As part of the administration's expanding testing program, they're going to be setting up new federal testing sites. The first one is coming to New York City, and Americans will be able to order online new at-home tests starting next month. The White House says they will be free to Americans who apply for them. There was also a close call for the president. On Friday, a staffer, he came into close proximity to a staffer on Friday who yesterday tested positive for COVID-19. The president was tested, came back negative. The White House says he'll be tested again tomorrow. Anne-Marie?
Oh, boy. So, Ed, talking about these at-home testing kits, great idea. It certainly will alleviate some of those long testing lines that you showed there in New York and, frankly, across the country. It's great that it's free, but who's actually paying for these tests?
The administration is. They're using the Defense Production Act that often talked about a federal tool to ramp up production of the tests and get them out as quickly as possible. There have been criticism of the White House that they could have been doing this sooner, that the testing should have never stopped even as the pandemic abated, but now they're going to try to speed it up and get those tests into the hands of Americans starting in early January. You're seeing some cities across the country start to do this, especially with their school districts. Here in Washington, for example, they've canceled classes for the first 2 days of January that were scheduled so that parents, teachers can show up, get tests, bring them home, take the tests, and then let the results be known. If you're positive, stay home. If you're negative, the kids can keep going to school. That kind of system, at least for schooling, is what the CDC hopes can become the norm going into this new year as the pandemic surges again. And the administration hoping that providing the option of signing up online to get these these tests, that it will give some ease to Americans and make it easier for them to find them. By not sending them to every American household, they won't be wasted. There had been talk of doing that through the Postal Service, but at various points in this past year, the White House said there was no need to do that because many of the tests would probably go unused and therefore be wasted.
You mentioned that White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki has ruled out a nationwide lockdown over this variant, and we've heard this kind of over and over from various voices of authority within the administration. No one wants to see a lockdown. But then I look across the pond and I look at Europe and I see, increasingly there are more restrictions being put in place to get a handle on this Omicron variant. And you gotta wonder, could this administration start to reconsider? Could further restrictions be in our future?
Well, remember, the federal government can't necessarily lock down things as much as a city mayor or a state governor or a county executive could. And what this administration is saying is ultimately it's going to be up to local officials to use the CDC guidance and make determinations for themselves. Again, looking at schools, we've seen reports all across the country of individual schools inside school districts having to go to virtual learning because there was too much of an outbreak among students, whether it's an elementary school or a middle school. You may see new restrictions put in place regarding showing your vaccine card at a restaurant in cities that don't have that. Here in D.C., the indoor mask mandate had expired. The mayor put it back in place yesterday with her state of emergency. A lot of folks scratched their heads and said, why'd you ever let it expire when you saw this coming? And those are conversations and debates that are more likely to happen now at the local and the state level. Very little the White House could do beyond that in terms of federal mandates, beyond what they have already done in terms of federal buildings and national parks or in policing air travel, at least internationally.
Yeah, we saw yesterday Bill de Blasio do a press conference, and he, has absolutely no appetite for any sort of citywide lockdown, and New York City is really in the thick of it. He is imposing some restrictions, though, that'll make it a lot harder for people who are not vaccinated to move around, to go out to dinner, and so on and so forth, which brings me to the main push of the Biden administration, which is get vaccinated, and if you're already vaccinated, get your booster shot. So there are about 28% of the U.S. population. There's about 28% of the U.S. population that is not vaccinated. These people have heard the pleas. They've seen, the public service announcements. I'm sure their family and friends have, pleaded with them to get vaccinated. They're not interested. So I'm wondering what the strategy is now to convince those people to be inoculated.
We started to get a taste of this yesterday as Jen Psaki started previewing this speech where she said, look, the president's going to be laying it out in stark terms that if you're unvaccinated, you're more likely to get hospitalized and you may end up dead if you're infected by the vaccine. Whether he goes that far remains to be seen. We'll have to see what he says this afternoon. But that would be adopting a tactic that we've seen used by other local leaders across the country. I think most notably the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, who for a while now has been saying that. Look, we're offering you free vaccination. We've set up systems all across the state to allow you to get tested. If you opt not to do it, fine. But if you end up dead or very sick and in the hospital, well, you know why. And there's been pressure put on this White House by Democrats and other supporters of, vaccination and making sure as many people do it as they can, to say you just got to be more straight with people about it at this point. And if it's unpleasant or scary to hear, well, so be it, is their attitude. And I think that's what we're going to start to see more and more from the White House. We've done everything we can to set this up for you. If you want it, it's there. If you don't, you know the consequences.
All right, it's the carrot and the stick. At one point, you were getting a free beer to get inoculated, and now It's like, hey, you're not going to be able to go out to a restaurant or a concert, all that sort of stuff. The White House, meanwhile, says it will keep fighting for the president's social spending plan, even after West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin announced Sunday that he's not going to vote for the current version of the plan. I can't imagine what version he would support that doesn't look so radically different than the first version, you can't even call it the same thing. Vice President Harris addressed this during her interview with Margaret Brennan. Let's play some of that sound.
I think the stakes are too high for this to be in any way about any specific individual. We have to, one of the things
it's a 50-50 Senate, though. So
it is. I'm the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
So then, what could the plan be? How can the administration move forward with this plan, or maybe portions of it, without Joe Manchin's support?
Well, we may get a better indication of what might be doable in the new year later tonight or early tomorrow. The Senate Democratic Caucus is set to hold a phone call with each other across the country back in their home states tonight at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Senate Majority Leader Schumer joking that tonight is the longest night of the year, given that it is the winter solstice. So what better way to spend the night than talking amongst themselves about the path forward. Big question will be whether Joe Manchin actually shows up for that conversation, because he's the one that essentially sparked it. What could be doable in the new year remains unclear, but obviously would have to be more modest and rewritten from what was already put on paper there in the form of the Build Back Better Act. It might have to be something like Build Back Better differently. And what about it would be so different remains to be seen. Some moderate Democrats in the House have been pushing all along for Congress and the White House to work together on a plan that would take fewer of the big items in this legislation and pay for them over a longer period of time, instead of packing in so many and only paying for them for like 2, 3, or 5 years. And Manchin's argument was, look, a lot of these programs are probably never going to go away, therefore should be funded for a longer period of time to show Americans the true cost. And there are reports that he offered a counterproposal to the White House that included some funding for climate change, fighting that, that would have dealt with child care and other aspects of what's in there, but fewer of them, and again, over a longer period of time, still with a price tag of about $1.7 trillion, which is in the ballpark of what the Build Back Better plan had. So it'll be complicated. It'll be complicated even further by how much attention the pandemic diverts from other things that this White House and Congress are trying to do, and whether they can even reconvene in person in Washington in the new year as they're supposed to. So answer to that question is we don't know yet, and it's going to take a little while to sort it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now. I don't know if you're tapped into this, but I'm curious about what the general sentiment is by the other senators, Democratic senators, towards Joe Manchin. What is the feeling about him? Is there some sympathy for his argument that it is really expensive? Is there understanding that he's from West Virginia and it's coal country? It's one of the few areas that's actually making money off of coal, and so he has to tread lightly in that area? Or are they just generally annoyed that he's stalling any progression for this agenda?
Well, he's got 49 Democratic colleagues and 49 different sets of opinions is probably the best way to describe what they think of him. But it's a little bit of both of what you just described. Some sympathy for him fighting for his home state and his concerns over the size and scope. He's not alone in that. It's just that he's more vocal about it and more unwilling to support what's written right now because he understands the politics of his state. And yes, there is some annoyance, certainly from people like Bernie Sanders, Ron Wyden, Jeff Merkley, Elizabeth Warren, and others who say, get on board, let's get this done. This is what the country and your own constituent, Senator Manchin, need. So we'll see where this goes. But they've done a pretty good job of keeping those disagreements, at least on the Senate side, out of the headlines because they understand that today it's Joe Manchin who has an issue with a big piece of legislation. Tomorrow it could be them. And the way the Senate is constructed, it is a body that allows any one individual member to hold things up. He's doing that, and in essence, he's doing more than many to serve as a U.S. Senator in that regard.
All right, Ed O'Keefe, thank you very much.